Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an email that was sent from a subscriber. This is from a guy. He shares his story about when he was younger, when he was 27 years old, and he was engaged to a gal who was 25. And you're going to see how ultimately he kicks her to the curb when she became a stereotypical feminist. You're going to see that she started hanging out with a bunch of other feminist girls who had the attitude that a lot of them have today, and it completely changed her. And at the time when he was engaged to her, they were both churchgoers, went to the same church, and he saw himself as a Christian and thought she was too. However, she got together with those gals and completely went down the drain. Fortunately, this guy handled the situation like a boss, as all guys should, and that was the end of that, and he got to have the last laugh with her. But there'll be a very good one to go over here, guys. Now, this isn't a long story, but I thought it was important to share, again, to show you what happens. You always have to pay attention to who your girl hangs out with. Her friends, her associates, roommates, whatever, coworkers, they're going to influence her, especially if she's not strong enough to have her own mind. If she's someone that easily goes along with the herd, essentially she's like the sheep, the odds are they're going to rub off on her. And you got to pay attention. That's very important. And also, girl cheats on you, or she stops being the person that you were initially, you got all the reason in the world to walk away, move on, end a freaking story. And if you don't, still going to take advantage of you. And of course, the fact that the poison that the feminist movement has brought about in today's world, and how gals will then use that as an excuse to pretty much do a lot of these awful things that they do in terms of cheating, because like the idea is that, hey, all guys are cheaters, so therefore we can cheat, and even the scorn, bullshit mentality like that. That'd be a good one here. It says here, SSM. At the time of this story, I was 27 years old, and Jen was 25. Both of us were Christians. Well, maybe you were. I was working for a janitorial service while she was attending a community college that was funded by a church that we both attended. Prior to Thanksgiving, she seemed more distant from me, and nightly calls went to once a week to every other week. Also, her letters stopped coming in as well. I figured that she was doing exams before the holidays. So what do I say always, guys, about pay attention to people's actions? They used to talk every night on the phone because they're engaged after all. And then it became once a week. And then once every other week. And this is obviously way back in the day when people wrote letters instead of emails. And the letters stopped too. This tells me everything. Oh, and they're doing long distance relationship. Never a good thing. On the week of Thanksgiving, she asked if I could help her move her stuff into the house that she co-rented with 3 other women attending the same college with her. Once I had her stuff in my truck, I drove to the address that she was moving into. I met with her and went to hug her, and she rejected my hug and said she felt embarrassed. Hang on here. This guy went to her house, loaded up his truck with all her stuff. Moving is never fun, as all you all know. And she can't even give him a freaking hug because she's embarrassed. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to unload all your shit right here, and you can deal with it. And not to mention that her communication with him just got less and less down the drain up into this event. Actions, guys. I felt bad energy from her rejection. Trust your gut. I went about moving her stuff into her room anyway with my truck. I wouldn't have done that. 2 of her roommates came home early and greeted me. One asked who I was, and I said that I'm Jen's fiance, and which both looked at each other, smiled, and walked into the kitchen giggling. Gee, what could they be giggling about? Do they know something he doesn't know? And by the way, you would think that if she's engaged, that if she loved her guy, they would know who the hell he was. They would have at least seen one picture. I mean, come on here. Girls tend to brag about their guys if they think their guy's a prize. Believe me. That just added to the bad energy that I was feeling. After an hour of offloading, one of her roommates was leaving and stopped to tell me that I was a really Mr. Nice Guy. Well, that's an insult. I pretty much got disgusted from that phrase being labeled on me. Well, yeah, because they can see that she's treating you like crap, obviously, and yet you're still picking up her stuff and hauling it into her house and doing that type of thing. Later, me and Jen went to eat, where she started being clingy again and love-bombing me and holding hands nearly all night. Once we got back to her place, she started keeping her distance from me once again. How interesting. When the other girls aren't around, she's love-bombing you, but when they're around, she has to put on the show. This time, I was able to meet with all her roommates. That's when the fun started for me. So, I introduced myself to them, and said I'm her fiance. She sat silent and was not affirming our statuses as such. So I doubled back and said, well, I thought I was her fiance, causing Jen to change subjects. Again, guys, pay attention to people's actions and their behavior. The behavior here is saying everything. We can all see it, but sadly at the time, in real time, it really wasn't as much. Afterwards, she and her roommate started making offhanded remarks about me as if I was no longer in the room. I'd tell them all to go fuck themselves. One came out and directly insulted me in front of Jen, and they all had a half laugh, but stopped when I stared at the woman running her mouth, causing her to leave the room. My friend, this would have been the time you should have been out of there a long time ago, but definitely then. So let's review. She's ignoring you. You're not talking anymore. You meet her. She wouldn't hug you in front of her roommates and friends. Now the other one's talking shit about you, and they're calling you the nice guy and laughing to themselves. Now one's insulting you. Obviously, you're not that important to her. Obviously, they got issue with you. Okay, you got no reason to be there. I mean, and of course, something's going on behind the scenes. Jen wanted to talk, and I was not having it. Later that night, the third woman approached me with a bundle of letters and said that that if I wanted to know, I will find the answers here. So I took the letters and read them on the couch. I could see that she fell in love with a guy at the college who was in the junior ROTC course. Read that she told him that he is her soulmate and wanted to marry him. Well, that sucks for this guy, but you know what? That explains everything. My heart just broke on me. All night I was feeling upset and heartbroken. Well, where the hell was she during all this? Were you sleeping on the couch and she was upstairs? And again, if I had fucking moved her stuff from her old place to her new place, I'm not sleeping on the couch. I'm in the bed getting some action. Early the next morning, Jen came down from her room. So I handed her the letters that caused her to freak out and asked where did I find them. I told her that they fell out of one of the boxes I moved to her room. She went to downplay and said I did not care anymore. I said I did not care anymore. Yeah, you're done. But of course she has to downplay it. And why did you just say, hey, your roommate gave them to me? She changed her tone and said that all her roommates are in relationships and dating other men as well. Then she said that since I was a man, that I would cheat on her if I had a chance, and that she needed a chance to make things fair. Sounds like some feminist garbage to me, because, all men are cheating, therefore, as a strong, empowered woman of the modern age, I need to be able to go hook up as many guys I want to, too. Some bullshit like that. And by the way, it doesn't sound like this guy's giving her any reason to think that he'd cheat, but obviously she changed when she went to that college, started hanging out with those girls, and they put that shit in her head. Apparently that men have been cheating on women since the beginning of time, and that now women should be equal to men in every way. Well, that's kind of what led to how we are today, and how's that worked out? I recognized that she was no longer that Christian woman, just a cheating feminist seeking payback. How many times have you guys heard stories, some I've done, when these parents write in about their daughters going off to school, and they come back one semester later, and their beautiful feminine daughter has suddenly chopped her hair, dyed it blue, has a few tattoos, angry as fuck, talking about injustice, and you guys know what I'm talking about there. I got up to leave, making her cry and grabbed my arm as I was leaving. I told her to enjoy her life with her friends. Then as I was almost out the door, and she said that if I was a good man and a Christian, I would forgive her. Okay, so she knows obviously he's a religious guy, so she's using that to manipulate him. Notice now she's crying and begging him not to leave, but her actions have shown she doesn't care. I just laughed at her and said, don't forget that Eve betrayed Adam and God for eating the forbidden fruit. I called her out on being a phony Christian. Good for you. She sent letters, which I trashed, but noticed on the return address, she wrote, your Christian sister on each envelope. Her friend sent me a letter 2 months later saying that Jen went into a deep depression after her new boyfriend had his way with her and ditched her for another woman at the college. That's how it works. When you roll Chad and Tyrone, all of a sudden she's seen this guy, a loyal, loving boyfriend, fiance, they were engaged, all of a sudden a whole new light, but she blew it, literally. I just moved on, never heard from any of them since. It's better to regroup and make yourself better. So there you go, guys. Quick story, but just again, a reminder what happens when gals, who they hang out with, and sadly, A lot of times gals get involved with a lot of girls that are, either they go off to college, they start taking these courses, the indoctrination begins, and the feminist bullshit, conditioning gals to be angry and pissed off all the time and see the injustice in the world through this professor's eyes, and then take it out on their good, loving boyfriends that treat them like gold and all that. Now, does this mean this happens in every situation? No, but it happens a lot. We have to pay attention to what the girl does, her actions, who her friends are, because you can see in the beginning of the story, they used to talk all the time, every day on the phone, because they're engaged. Now, that's a bit much in my opinion, but that's a whole other conversation. But the once-a-day conversations was once a week, then every other week. And she used to write him letters all the time, and we're talking way back in the past, and that stopped. It says everything. And then how she was treating him in front of the friends, and they were laughing, making fun. But at the end of the day, look what happened to her. The guy she was cheating on this dude with, who she thought was her soulmate, engaged, kicked her to the curb. That is karma. That's pretty funny here. So guys, this is why I do these stories. I share these stories because many of you guys can relate to these situations, or may find yourself in a situation like this one day, and I hope you'll know what to do. And this guy handled it quite well, and I hope he's doing well. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me think about this. Let me know, guys, if you're in a situation like this. By all means, share it in the comment section. Again, the more you guys comment and share your stories, share your opinions, other guys read it, because I know a lot of guys, they love the stories, but they certainly love the comments. I've read guys comment and they say, oh crap, I'm going to come back later when I can read more comments. So comment away. Guys, enjoy it. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.